3, 2, and 1. Hi, everybody. We are live. I'm Chris Trammell. I'm the creator, developer, and head coach of the Author Launchpad. And I go live on Thursdays, 12 p.m. Pacific, where I get to bring on experts, geniuses, persons that are committed to making a difference for the author publishing journey. And today I get to have a fantastic guest. But before I introduce my guest, one thing that I invite everybody to do that makes a big difference is check your tech. Now, what do I mean by check your tech? I'm going to go into Facebook. I got it ready right now. And I'm going to hit where it says live. And I want to make sure that it's live. So do that. Give people that opportunity to know that you are live, because we are in a busy, overwhelmed information society right now, and people are like, oh, it's noon, let me go jump onto that thing that I want to go jump on. So now the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that link. So now I'm going to make that guy be quiet. I'm going to copy that link, cancel, share, copy link, and I'm also going to post it in my other locations, one of those locations being the Author Launchpad. So I'm going to head over right now, post it into the Author Launchpad community, and I've also got it ready to go to post into LinkedIn as well. So there's one. And these are just part of the things. As you get better, you grow your platform, you'll be able to use StreamYard or Restream, and it'll stream into all the different platforms. It'll make you more effective over time. But if you're starting out and you're a solopreneur or you're an author, just start with Zoom and start with streaming into one platform. And that's how you start to build that muscle of practice, right? Because oftentimes we won't do it thinking, I'm not perfect yet. It doesn't look the way it's supposed to look. And part of my live streams, I specifically make real time. I don't do them curated, because as much as I like curated, that the content tends to come back very clean, it's not always real life. And you and I deal in the domains of real life. We write professional development books, we write self-development books, we write personal development books that talks about real life, real mechanics, real mindset, real situations that we need to be able to make a difference in. But if you're always posting the curated and you're always posting what's perfectly done, then there's going to be that disconnect that your audience is going to have from you, because they're not going to see you as somebody who's willing to get dirty, willing to be authentic, and willing to show up however you are and make that difference. So now that I've given Mark Zuckerberg's bots a few minutes to come on, it's 12:05, great. Let me go ahead and take this opportunity to introduce someone that I have been following this person right around December. I found this woman and I said, I gotta meet her, because one of my favorite books that totally reorganized how I see marketing and what I see that authors should be doing was a book that I read in a book group called The Rich Nerds, which is a graduate community of book readers, business books. And it was the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, the 10X habits, right? And so as I looked at it, I found this person on LinkedIn who had the 10X for young people. And I said, who's this book designer? So let me tell you who this book designer is before I bring her on. So Rachel Valliere, and I keep wanting to say that like an Italian, but it's Rachel Valliere, is a book designer and the founder of Printed Page Studios. She specializes in helping nonfiction authors grow their impact, income, and authority through collaborative strategic design. And I love that we're so similar, Rachel, when I bring you on. Yours is impact, income. I say impact, influence, and income. So we are right there in the authority part. She's been featured in Forbes. I have that article pulled up. It's a great article. We're going to post that link in here. It'll also be wherever you find this replay, whether it's at YouTube or on my replay page. It's a fantastic article that she got interviewed for on Forbes. And she's designed hundreds of books for a wide variety of authors, including part of the Grant Cardone ecosystem of books. Like, what an honor. She's also, and I found this out by doing my research on her, she's a difference maker and animal lover, and she loves her horses. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and bring Rachel Valliere to the Author Launchpad Livecast. Welcome, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me on. That was such a lovely introduction. I'm doing great.
Fantastic.
So,
Thank you. Did I miss anything in that introduction? I get excited sometimes, Rachel. So did I miss any of your credentials? Anything else? Oh, owner of Printed Pages Studios.
Yeah, yep, you got it. You nailed it. You even got my name right. It's very impressive. Nonfiction, book design nerd, horse lover. That pretty much sums me up. So
all right, fantastic. I see that we're streaming just fine. I've checked all of our platforms, and as guests come on, and we'll give them an opportunity in between at different sections to ask their questions. So that way we're able to do that, and also check to see if there's any comments in the feeds. So we're going to start with the easy things, just like going to the gym. We're going to put on just 5 pounds, and we're just warm up, okay? And then we'll start to get into the workout that makes a difference and builds the muscles and helps us contribute to the listeners, whether they're live or in replay. So here we go. Rachel, what do you do? What do you do?
I am a book designer, which for me means that I design book covers as well as book interiors, and I specialize in nonfiction. And I focus on working with authors who are publishing to grow their impact, income, authority, the things you talked about. Authors who are purpose-driven and really lit up about their book topic and want to go beyond just book sales with what they're doing with their book. So
beautiful. Thank you. Okay. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but you said something already. Said 2 things. So ladies and gentlemen, I take notes. Here's my printed notes. So if you're going to do one of these things, make sure you get your notes, your script ready to go. So I take notes, Rachel. If I'm not looking at you, I'm not texting friends or something. My old teacher in me has me take notes. Purpose driven. How do you listen for and determine as you're bringing on clients if they are purpose driven or they're just trying to get something out there to build a brand?
Oh, I like that question.
I saved a couple that aren't on here.
I think for me, really, it's when I usually start off when I get an inquiry about working together, we do a discovery call on Zoom. And people light up when they talk about that thing. So it's really just more of a feeling in their mannerisms, but purpose-driven folks, when they're talking about their book, when they're talking about the thing they're doing, they light up and you can just tell, like they're just infused with energy.
Fantastic. I did a post for us announcing today, and that is much of our work is energetics being transferred into our word, being transferred into the visuals that we show up with, being transferred into the visual appearance you're going to give. So when I talk about visual, I mean storytelling live, right? Like people are getting our energy right here. So I love that you talk about the energy that they demonstrate. And we'll get into your craft, because when you get that energy, I'm sure that when you go to design, you're like, how do I maintain that energy? Let's jump into that right now. How do you convert who you get onto a book cover?
Oh, well, I mean, from a technical standpoint, I have a whole long questionnaire that asks questions about their their purpose for publishing, their target audience, their business, if their book is affiliated with their business or their mission or platform. And so I kind of start with that, and then we get on a design kickoff call and we just talk everything over. So one of the most important questions that I like to ask is, how do you want your reader to feel when they look at the book cover? And it's really about narrowing that down. Like, if you had to narrow down your reader to one person, who is it? And like, what are they seeking? What are they feeling? What do they want to feel? What do they want out of it? And so I really just like to listen to, I love hearing people talk about their thing and what lights them up. And so I just like to listen and let the author talk, and I get a good sense of where they're coming from and why they're publishing, and all of that just kind of feeds into the design.
So excellent. What is your reader seeking, feeling, and wanting, such that you're able to create the bridge between the content in the book through the cover that speaks to what they're seeking, feeling, and wanting?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
wow.
Because that's how we make decisions, is based on emotion. Studies show that we think we make logical decisions, but it really is all about how we're feeling. So that's really the bottom line of it.
Oh yeah, it's mirror neurons first. We want to know, do I resonate with you? Do I feel right with you? Are you gonna guide me through scary swamp and fearful forest? Are you gonna be with me with the uncertain landscape? And then we say, okay, now show me your program. Do you actually have the solutions? Do you have the step-by-step? Do you have the portfolio that qualifies my feelings being a yes? So when we go data first, which is where we meet a lot of people head to head, it's a difficult sales funnel. It's a difficult process, but when we meet heart to heart, we get to resonate with those people faster. And to know that you do it through book design, phenomenal. The other thing is listen, that I got from you, like a lot of listening, which as an author, I see them building the muscles of talking at, and you should know, but you're saying, no, you got to listen.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, it's listening to the author and the client, and from the author's perspective, it's listening or getting in the head of your target reader. And the target reader is a really important piece, because every decision about your book should be sort of funneled through that perspective of who that reader is and what it's going to do for them.
Wow. Okay, let's get back to some easy questions. I jumped ahead. Okay, easy question. How'd you get started? How'd you become an awesome book designer? You're so young. How'd you become an awesome book designer?
It was an accident. I grew up, the book nerd kid. I loved books, I loved art, all of those things. And I loved writing. So in college, I majored in journalism, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I got done, and I didn't want to be a journalist, and I was just looking for a job, and I found I think it was in a newspaper. I may not be as young as you think. And it was a book designer job posting. And I thought, well, that sounds cool. And it was entry level. And I started off, it was a hybrid publisher, and they trained me. And that's really how I got started. And it was like, I couldn't have really dreamed up a better career for the things that I love. And then from there, I went to a different publishing company for a few years. And then I went out on my own several years ago. And I freelanced for all sorts of clients and publishing companies. And maybe 3 years ago now, I really niched down and realized nonfiction is where my personal passion and expertise lies. And so I just started going after just nonfiction projects, and discovered I love working one-to-one with independent entrepreneurial authors, and that's what's brought me here.
So great. So great. So well articulated. Thank you for that journey. And where are you located at?
I am in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Very cool. So have you done any work for Indianapolis 500?
No, I have not.
Do they know that they have one of the best book designers around in their backyard?
You know, Chris, I don't think they do. I should probably do something about that.
There's probably plenty of guys who want to tell their story, right? My
Yeah,
story at 200 miles an hour, whatever. My story at the brickyard,
that's great.
growing
I
up on
love
the
that.
brickyard, right?
Yeah,
You get
yeah,
one. You get one. I just want a signed copy when you make that cover.
I can do that.
Okay, and then my last question, the easy get us started. I often ask people, ghostwriters or other publishers, have you worked with anyone famous? Well, we know someone that you're part of that ecosystem, but who are some of the names we might know that you've been able to work with?
Yeah, I'd say Grant Cardone is the main one for sure. Other names you might know. Um, Gosh, off the top of my head, I'm coming up blank on like other household names, but I have worked with some incredible entrepreneurs like Jeff Shannon, John Bacuzzi,
Yeah.
um, let's see, Tisha Schuler. I don't know that they would be
Okay.
names that people would know, but they should be. They're doing great work. Jeff Shannon is he wrote and he's a consultant on like leading engaging meetings and
Mm-hmm.
facilitating meetings. And John has an amazing book about customer service and like how important the customer experience is to your business. And Tisha Schuler wrote about real decarbonization. It's all about like
I saw
helping
that.
people. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's her business is really fascinating and just really cool. I love what she's doing, helping oil and gas industry leaders decarbonize in an actual realistic way that is approachable and that can actually make change.
So maybe the general audience doesn't know them, but within their industries, people know who these individuals are. That's what I'm hearing too, because part of when we ask, have you worked with anyone famous? We forget that it's like as a track and field coach, I'll relate it back to that. Who I got freshman year was this many students. Actually, I'll even relate it back to my son who played college football. Starts off with Pop Warner. Thousands, millions of kids played Pop Warner. Only so many make it to high school. Only so many will make it to college, Division One. And then very few will actually make it to that zenith of playing professional NFL sports. But we look at these celebrities and we look at these personalities and we compare ourselves to their sales. We compare ourselves to their ecosystem, forgetting, oh yeah, they started off like everybody else and they kept whittling and working and practicing and persisting until they got to that place. So let's take it there for a second. What are some of the mindsets and the mechanics and the deep work you had to do to last, to make it to where you are, excuse me, to where you are now?
Ooh, wow. Well, uh, how long do you have?
Very good.
It's been a lot of deep work. I think, gosh, well, one of the key mindset things that has been just really a game changer for me is realizing, am I doing things motivated out of fear or
Mm,
motivated by, desire and expansion and growth?
mm,
And I sort of trained myself. I mean, I realized looking back at my life, most of my life, every decision that I made was fear-based. And that is really not the way to live your best life. So I've trained myself
beautiful.
to stop and consider every decision and think about like what's motivating that decision. Like, for example, some of the work I've done, I'm terrified of public speaking. I shouldn't claim that identifier anymore. But if I just made decisions based on what made me comfortable, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have done any of this. So that's something I've had to overcome, and just learning, what I mean, psychology shows that humans, we will do more to avoid pain than to like gain pleasure. But the way to really grow and make a difference and live your best lit up life and your purpose is to follow what lights you up. So that's been a big focus of mine the last few years as I try to really step into the role of an entrepreneur and have these kinds of conversations and grow myself and my business and help others.
Thank you, Rachel, for the deep work that you've done so that you could be here making a difference for others. Because had you not done that work, you wouldn't be bringing your best gift forward. And your gift is a container. It's a catalyst for others to be able to bring their work forward. And we forget, like, oh yeah, there was some stuff that we had to go through to be where we are sometimes so that we can make a difference for others. So I really acknowledge you for that, Rachel.
So true. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. All right. And Frankie, I know you're off camera. If there's any questions you got, put it in the chat, and I'm going to look online to see if there's any questions there. And then I will pull you up if you got a question there. Okay. Here's one that makes a big difference for me. So I am very process oriented. I think it's one of the big missings in the online coaching space is that oftentimes people register for programs and then they don't know how to locate where they're at, where they should be. Inside of the Author Launchpad, I have 3 very clear phases. First phase, we package. The second phase, we're going to market. The third phase, we're going to start to scale. And inside of each phase, there's 3 steps that I know that I need to move people through. Do you have a clear process that I have to walk people through, and that way the client's able to locate where we're at all times to feel that confidence and assurance, to turn themselves over to you?
Yeah. And that was something when we spoke before, I really love how focused and how good you are at identifying processes and like making that clear and laying that out, because that is definitely a skill that doesn't come naturally to everyone, myself included. But I've been doing this a long time and I definitely do have a process, and it's really, if I had to put it into buckets, it's the front cover design is first, and that's like the foundation and the core. So you can start the front cover before your manuscript is finalized. You have to be far enough along to be certain about your title and your subtitle and that front cover text, because it's not just like text that you can just edit on a cover design. It's more part of the art. So changing that text can have a big impact on the design. So you want to have it finalized. But the front cover is where we do all of that, like discovery about the brand and the target audience and the why behind it all, and what the author wants to get out of publishing. And then once we have that front cover design finished and settled upon, then everything else flows from that. So the interior pulls fonts and elements from that, so it all matches. So it's front cover, and then book interior. And then usually the back cover and the ebook are kind of the final things to get wrapped up, because just back cover, so you have time to get endorsements and things and finalize your back cover text. You need to know your final interior page count to finish the spine width and just all the technical little details. That's kind of the last bucket.
So great. I mean, Rachel, I knew that I was good at what I did and what I do after publishing. The before publishing world was foreign to me. And that's part of why I started these live casts, so that I can meet all of the professionals that I was beginning to learn go into a book. Because as a teacher, what I did for 15 years and writing curriculums, I never asked who published the book, or I needed to know what was in the book and how to teach it out in the world so that people could take it and do what they're going to go do with it, right? And that's still kind of my wiring. Like, I want to be able to teach that book and bring it out to the world. Now getting to learn the technical parts, there is a whole aspect to it that is super critically important. And I thank you for sharing that for me. I didn't know there was those three sets. So front cover, interior, and then the back cover.
Yes, yes. And there really is, you're so right about that. There's so many, and a lot of it's just boring details. You can really get in the weeds with it, but there are so many things that if authors don't know going in, that it just can cost them time, extra money. Like it's just really kind of the Wild West still for self-publishing, and there's so many different paths to take regarding that, and different ways you can get your book out into the world. So more and more I'm becoming like really passionate about just getting the information out to authors, and helping them be empowered to make informed decisions about their publishing journey.
Very good. It sounds like you might have a membership program in the works. Just saying, as a guy who works on, I'm like, yeah, because some people may not be ready. Like I'm thinking of one of my clients right now. As you are looking for a finished title, I know we've been going back and forth between titles, which means that we have even more potentially subtitles to work through, because this title might have that subtitle, this title has this one. How do we keep it in the theme?
Yeah.
So I think there's some exercises that people would like to workshop with you, so that there's different confidence benchmarks they're able to hit in this journey.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the membership idea. I've been playing around with that. I definitely think that's coming. And I really want to do a lower ticket membership, because book design can range wildly in prices. And I think I could help so many authors, whether they're working with me or a different designer, I can help them have a better outcome, have a better experience, because there's a lot of things that you can do as an author going into it to like improve that outcome, or things that maybe other book designers don't all necessarily help you with or let you know about. So I think that could be very beneficial.
What is the price range? Like, I know sometimes people are, oh, we don't talk, we do. So for me, the Author Launchpad group coaching program is $5,500. It's 90 days of the information, and it is me working with them in a group 3.5 to 4 hours a week. Then I also have the Author Launchpad where I do the work for them, and that's $9,500. And then ultimately I have Launch Your Life's Work, where I'm now building them out to be Tony, Grant, having them have that whole experience, and that's 25,000 and up, because it's a whole year that I'm working with people.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, and I'm like, people just need to know it's because of the years I've put in being in the back of the room with these thought leaders. It's the years I've been in the back of the room with transformational experts. It's the time I've spent as an Ironman, as a track and field coach. All of that comes through this lens. Information comes in one ear and then comes out my hand and says, okay, this is what your program looks like. This is what people want. This is how I hear you answer it. And this is the value that I'm going to bring to you. And done correctly, you're going to hit 6 figures. You're going to keep on some trajectory where I then get to hand you off to a 7-8 figure coach. But, so what is the range that, if they're like, oh, Rachel, what's the lowest you could possibly afford it? And then there's somebody who's like, I want the Rolls Royce of Rachel treatment.
Great question. And I love that we're talking about pricing. I think it shouldn't be shrouded in a mystery veil. I would say, so I think if someone wants the lowest price possible, I'm probably not the person for them, because I do tend to do more of the Rolls Royce treatment on every project, because that's how I like to work. So I finally just embraced that. And there are lots of great book designers out there, and that's also where I think my membership that I'd like to create could really help people who are more on a tight budget to be able to hack the system a little bit and get more out of their budget. But my full design package typically starts around 4,500 for cover and interior, and that's for the print book and the ebook conversion. And what I really focus on, or what's kind of, I guess, different or unique about how I like to offer the service, is the focus on the one-to-one and the customization of the project. So I'm going to sit down with you. We're going to talk about what you need, what you want, what printers you want to use, what trim size or, book dimensions are right for you, what formats you might want to publish in, and I'll look at the manuscript, and I really kind of custom quote everything to some degree because every project is different. And then I'm there along the way. I work with people oftentimes for months, and I try to schedule things out. We can start their cover way ahead of time if they want to, and then the interior could come much further down the road if they're working with an editor. There's just so many moving pieces.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
please.
I want to offer the flexibility and the additional support. That's something you wouldn't get from like a designer that's cranking out a lot of projects, or like a hybrid publisher experience. So
Got that.
yeah.
What is the length of time someone should expect to work with you? A month, 3 months, 6 months?
Yeah.
What works? What's that time frame?
It's a great question. It's a hard question to answer because it's all over the map. If I have to answer it, I say, on average, roughly 12 weeks. I would
Okay.
say, like a 3 month, and that's if things are like moving along and there aren't long delays.
Yeah.
But you're not like breakneck speed. You're thorough moving along, but it can take longer. It can depend on how many rounds of editing the author's doing. Some authors send it to a proofreader after the book is designed. So we might be waiting on proofreading. They might be really busy with their business and need more time to review the files. Or we might have no rounds of cover revisions, or we might have 3 rounds. So 12 weeks is a good estimate, but it really can vary.
Yeah, you point to something I need to jump in on just for a second. Is I'm not an author coach in the sense that I see a lot of really great author coaches out there that help with the writing. I do that too. But I look for the project management, the fulfillment of something getting done. Because what I see is there's this fragmented chain of service providers that an author is working with, but they don't have one pit crew chief managing them and managing their total project. Because that's where I look at it. I'm like, okay, who are we bringing in? They're going to work on some part of your high performance vehicle that's called your book. And I say it's a profitable platform as well. And then after the book's published. So what I hear too is some of your authors, left to their own devices, things get delayed. And then the momentum is lost. Where were we? What was it we were working on again? Oh yeah, that's right. Let me go back to that. And when we lose that energy, we lose that momentum, then there's no way that author is posting online saying, I got my book coming out soon, or download the first chapter of my book because I got an epic graphic from Rachel and I've got a lead magnet page ready to go, because they're not keeping up with what they really need to be doing in the process.
Excellent point. And I have gotten a little bit more stringent about scheduling things and making people pick dates for my own sanity, but also I have found it is a better experience for everyone, and you're so right about that. And without deadlines, we don't get stuff done. It's just human nature. And yeah, there are so many moving parts. There are, and a lot of, I think most first-time authors just have no idea the amount of work and the amount of steps. Like there's no way to really grasp it until you've gone through it. So most people think it's going to take far less time than it actually does. And to your point also, I actually do partner up with a publishing consultant on a lot of projects. So like if authors want additional support, I can connect them with her. And we have two separate businesses, but we work very, like, we pair well together because she does that project management. She can get them, you know, amazing editors and handle all of that and get them moving through the process, help with ISBNs. She helps people create their own publishing imprint. And we're both very big believers on you own your rights. You own
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. If you're really going to take it out in the world, you have to. I had a client come to me and they're like, yeah, no, someone else owns the rights. I'm like, I can't do anything with your book. They're going to constrain me. I'm going to have to keep checking in with someone else who doesn't know what I know how to do. And they're going to tell me their belief on how to market or how to really build your profitable platform. And they're not even in the water I'm swimming in. They're of a different mindset altogether. So yes, authors, as best you can, keep your IP, that you get final say on how to use your work in the world. Okay, let me dote on your professional skill set for a moment and let's dive into what people have been waiting for. You ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right, good. So I love this one. You had me at hello with this one, Rachel. Ladies and gentlemen, she has an outstanding portfolio. If you have not had a chance to look at Rachel's portfolio, I will share that page with you in a moment where you could go to Printed Pages Studios and I'll show you that. So by looking at this is what the layout was. Began with the Word doc, and what it actually ended up as for 10x for kids, for young adults, you designed this cover and back cover. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
It's awesome. It's so great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you have a signed version from Grant himself?
I do not.
Rachel, what are you doing?
I'm a slacker.
You're going to send him a letter and say, thank you so much. I got to do this for you. May I please have a signed copy with me?
Yeah. You know, Chris, the reason I became a designer is because I like to hide behind my little computer screen. So these are all things I'm working on.
Oh, I love it. Well, that's great. Thank you for that authenticity. I used to say, and I think we shared this, for me, it was, this is perfect. I was clipboard, then chalkboard, then keyboard. Those were the things that I hid behind, because as a track coach, I was always clipboard, causing my athletes to be successful, right? Then as a teacher, I was writing on the chalkboard. I used the chalkboard to help them move out in the world. And now, oftentimes, I find myself doing too much of the program development, course development, retreat development, writing their program. So I'm behind the keyboard. And until I started recognizing, oh, wait, people really want someone that's going to be the tip of the arrow and then say, come on, watch how I do this. Let's do this together. Rather than just, I've done it. Let me push you out there into the deep end. I'll be right here to make sure you're okay. And so great job, Rachel. Thank you because we all hide in some way, shape, or form. And we're always closing the gap on our best, confident, competent self.
Yeah. And
that was awesome.
If I may take a little tangent off of that, I think that's what's so, I am obsessed with the fact that anybody can publish a book now. Like the fact that we have this available to us, and just books in general, like what else in modern day society, in the age of TikTok and like very short attention spans, it's phenomenal to me that we still read books and that we still have a medium that's been around for hundreds, thousands of years, and I believe will continue to be around for hundreds and thousands of years.
Yes.
That like we will dive into, and we're able to share our stories and our experiences at such a deep level, and people still read books, and I think like that's what changes the world. That's what changes culture, society, humanity. That's what helps us grow. It's not debates on social media. It's not lists of facts. It's the sharing of story. That's how we're wired as humans. And so books are just this magical, amazing thing. And everyone has something important to share and something to offer. So whether you are, the Grant Cardone of the world, or you're just in your little corner, like you still have something very valuable to offer. And it's easier than ever to do that. It's just such an amazing world that we live in.
Fantastic. And if you are that person listening to this, reach out to Rachel so you could design a cover that is elite or represents you. I shouldn't say elite, because that frames it a certain way, that it needs to look a certain way, and it's like perfect. There's no perfect and there is no elite. It is the value that we believe that we assign to something based on the problem we have and the solution we're searching for. And does it meet our visual, and as you said earlier, what we're feeling, what we're wanting? What was the third one? What we're feeling. So good, Rachel. I'm going to quote that one. I got it right here. You said, seeking, feeling, and wanting. Have that cover. Have Rachel do that cover for you. Yeah, really fantastic. Okay, let's play.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't finish doting on you. I got to do it for just 1 second. It's important. Look at this, everybody. Look at that. And not only look at it, but buy this book for your kids, and it will make a huge difference. It's the same way I hoped that someday in my future, I'll get to write a curriculum that's based around how to win friends and influence people. Had we read that book growing up our whole lives, society would be a lot different. But here we go with Rachel's, this is in her portfolio. So please do take the opportunity. Why isn't my page cursor moving here? There we go. Love this. Why the big clean white space, expert?
Well, white space really elevates the design, and it helps, I think, our brains process the information. So with this book, like those first pages that you showed, that was the manuscript with all of the text. That's how a book would be, given to me to then lay out. So they wanted this to be really, highly designed, and especially because it's for younger folks, like kids.
Yeah.
You need the white space, and you need that high level of organization and hierarchy to make it digestible and to make it easy to flip through and maintain focus.
Awesome. Rachel, I'm doing a media event in July where we're going to be taking photos like this. We're going to have people on stage. We're going to give them everything they need. Why did you pick these two photos of a big smiling Grant? He tends to be very, some people call him aggressive. He's just very confident. He's got his conviction. He's got that raspy Texas voice. But you captured two big, smiling, lovable, affable photos of him. And it changes how we experience him.
You're absolutely right. And I have to say, these photos were provided for the book. So him and his team picked the photos, and they are perfect because they're those big life shots, like we talked about on our last call, and what you're doing with your event that you're holding, which is so awesome, because photos are, I'm actually glad we're touching on that. Your author photo and on the back cover, or whatever photos of yourself you use, so important. Don't skimp on that. Very important. And these really capture, and especially because it is a book for younger adults and kids, like the friendly, approachable version of Grant Cardone, but showing him in his element, like you're gonna do for people. Your photos, I would say, and you can tell me if you disagree, but part of it should be branded like your website. Like
Yes.
you want it to project your essence, and you want to care about what outfit you're wearing, and all of those things matter.
So great. You took one out of my playbook. This is the big thing that I see is missing in most books, especially for nonfiction writers that want to actually have it live beyond. Did you design these resource worksheet pages that are here that we're looking at right now?
Yes.
They're gorgeous. They're so well done.
Thank you.
What was the thinking behind these?
Yeah, so I mean, for these, the text was provided, so I didn't write them or anything. But I did, you know, the layout, you saw it was just straight text. So it's really just, I just wanted to make it highly visual and engaging, and really well organized. So it's the use of like color and space and typography, and the icons to just help move the reader along and like show your eye where to go and keep it interesting.
Yeah, Rachel, what I want to illustrate right here, and I have to, is people want it at that level in a book. We want it at the deep personal level in retreats, workshops, master classes. But in a book, that is the depth that we're able to work with it at. You can have some questions, right? Like the questions could pull for a little bit more out of us. But that structure is perfect for a book because our brains that grew up in the academic model that we did as Americans and most Europeans, that's how we've learned it. That's how we process it. That's how we do it. Then we turn ourselves over to the author coach, the author expert, and say, take me on a journey, take me on a retreat, create a signature program, and bring that to life for me. You did a fabulous job with that. Please.
Thank you. I was just going to elaborate off what you said. There's a term for those elements in a book that I've actually recently heard used, and I love it. It's amazing. Summary devices. And that's something I'm encouraging authors to think about, like as they write and develop their manuscripts. What sorts of elements might you want to include in your book? Like a chapter summary at the end is a common one, or like reflection questions, or you know, like those boxes in that design, in Grant's design that you just showed, and those are called feature boxes. So you can have recurring elements like that throughout your book, and they're very useful for readers. And it's something you want to think about more ahead of time because it's a lot harder to add those things in later. But yes, those are they just really elevate your book. They elevate the reader experience. And I don't know about you, Chris, like I love it. I noticed that a lot of nonfiction books have free downloadable resources.
Yes.
That's great. I encourage people to do that, put a QR code in the book to scan it. So I'm a big fan of that.
Do you design those for them as well? Because that's one of the things, admittedly, publishers don't give the clients I've worked with. I'm like, do you have a template? So there's two questions. We've missed this question, and you're speaking to it. You're speaking to the foundation of it right now. But let me ask you, let me go back to it. Do you design those template pages for people? Do you give them like, hey, here's a template. You can always change the words, but use this template?
I don't have a template for that. I do design lead magnets. Basically everything I do is custom right now. So
Yeah.
I have designed lead magnets and downloadable resources, or I'll take if I've done like figure or graphic design for a book, I'll provide that as a separate PDF, those graphics for the author to use. I love the template idea. I also love the idea of doing like a branded Google Doc template, because the trouble with book design, like any professional book design, is going to be laid out in a program like Adobe InDesign that most people don't have and don't know how to use, but it's what you have to use for a good looking book. And so then once your book is in that document, you can't make edits or changes to it anymore unless you have InDesign and you know how to use it. So like I love the idea of having a sort of branded Google Doc that, like, something I give authors is a style guide from their book at the end of the process that shows the fonts that were used. And then I also find the best, because I use commercial fonts that you'd have to pay for a
Okay.
license for. So I find the best free alternatives.
Mhm.
Closest matches, and I give them the links to download all of that. So that way they can keep a cohesive look and feel. But yeah, I'm nerding out over here, but
No,
download.
it's good. I want you to. You, you're speaking to, so, we create solutions for where we saw gaps in the marketplace.
Mhm.
I saw these gaps in the marketplace working with authors when I started with this idea that I could take a book and I could create a profitable platform from it. I could create a signature group coaching program, a masterclass. Like, just give me your book. I will help you turn it into something you can make profit from beyond book sales. You said that earlier.
Mhm.
And the part was, and you said it right here, it is my sixth step, because so many times I had authors coming to me. I'm like, hey, do you have something that has impactful graphics? They're like, I got 2 graphics. I'm like, 2 graphics? How much did you pay the publisher? They're like, well, that's what they gave me. I'm like, do you have a book signing tour graphics? No. Do you have like a post? Do you have something I can put on Instagram? Do you have a basics of graphics? They're like, no. So that's one of the things I've learned to build in, Rachel, because it's such a missing that my clients come to me with. So not only do I got to take them from expertise to graphics to learning how to scale, but it's the confidence building that they develop along the way as well. So thank you for, you keep doing that. And I know now with this conversation, the next people that get you are going to get more Rachel and closer to making a difference with legacy and beyond the book. So let's play the game now, because I've been saying it and we keep talking. So we're going to do it. All right, here we go. Rachel, book number 1. It is a nice book with a lot of white space. It has red foil on it.
Ooh.
Start with Why by Simon Sinek. And what I'd like is your gut reaction, what you like about it, what you would change, and expensive. I don't know, like anything you want to say. You get 15, 30 seconds on each book. Go.
Okay. I love it. I love the red. Red is a really commonly requested color, and it's got to be done right. Because with color psychology, you don't want to have it. You have the wrong connotations. But this is done right. I love the foil. It's so eye-catching. I just love it. I wouldn't change anything, honestly.
Boom. Love it. Really fantastic pair of clients that not pair of clients, colleagues that were on the show, Marnie Stockman and Nick Coniglio. Did you watch Ted Lasso?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love this too. Gosh, okay, I love it. It's Ted Lasso. You just can't not make you feel happy. I love the mustache. It's so eye-catching. One thing, I think if I were gonna change anything, I would make the subtitle a little bit bigger. Or like bolder. That's something to think about, is mostly reviewing book covers as thumbnail images online.
Yeah.
But I mean, this cover is so eye-catching. I really love it.
And Nick, handsome guy, Marnie, beautiful hair like you, but there's no picture of him. So I noticed that a lot of your books have pictures on the back.
Yeah, I definitely recommend an author photo on the back cover. It's not necessary, but I think it's nice for people to see the author. You just feel more connected, and it's an opportunity for you to just amplify your brand with a visual.
Beautiful. Okay, next one.
All right. Let's see. This one to me looks a little bit dated to me. I don't know when this came out.
It's a good one. This is let me go while you're pointing at it. The date 2007.
Okay, so that is a little bit older. It's funny, like design changes so quickly and the trends change so quickly. And now, like, as the software changes, things, the way we design changes. I like that the title is really easy to see. That's great. I think, I'm not sure what the image in the background is.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Is it a bike? What is that? Oh, it's a camera. That's the IP.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
camera filming somebody.
Okay, got it. So,
Good point.
yeah, that was it could maybe be a little bit clearer, but at least it's organized and easy to read the title and everything.
Yeah, and really good. They were super successful because so many people want media training. It's part of what I've went back to refer of what I'm going to bring into our media training. So that was great. I think you know these folks.
Publish, promote, profit.
Bob Harpole.
Oh, yes, Bob.
Osborne, yeah.
Yes, nice. I like this cover. I like the simplicity of it. And I like the colors are working really well for the message, the blue and gold. As far as the messages that colors send and the typography, I'm getting a really nice, like, elevated professional vibe, very easy to read. I like the periods after the title also, published for profit. I feel like that's a nice effect.
What about this? This is the first one we see a testimonial, like right on the top by someone, a notary, and someone of notary. Is that right? Notoriety.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think of that?
A big fan. I think that's great if you're able to include that on the front. That's awesome. Yeah. All
right. This is someone I've seen before. What do you think of this? Now this is one has the person on the cover. And I know you have thoughts about that.
I do. I think this is gorgeous. Strategy. Ooh, make millions online. So this is an example, I would say, of like a really well done photo where she's like encapsulating what I am imagining her brand message is. Like, this is giving me a feeling like I want to feel like she feels. Like, I want to be her. She looks confident, happy, wealthy. I assume she's making millions. And the design has a lot of that white space, like it makes it feel really elevated, and it's very nice. I like it.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So this is Kelly Roach. She is my business coach. I have watched her follow the live launch methodology. She created it. It's what I teach a lot of the authors, how to be great on camera and just using one process and being committed to the outcome of your clients, just been a rocket ship. And so I love how you describe that, because I think when we see the Grants and the Brene Browns and we see those at the pinnacle, the Tony Robbins, we want that experience.
Yeah. Everything we do is for how we think it will make us feel. And that's that connection.
All right. Last three. We're going a little bit quicker.
Okay.
What about this one?
Oh, Wayne Dyer. It's good. It's simple. I mean, from a design standpoint, I don't actually love it, but it's Wayne Dyer. Like, and it, like, you don't need to dress up Wayne Dyer because he has his name. So I like that it's just the photo and the words are very clear.
So that's really good. What I'm hearing is once your brand hits a certain level, a certain threshold, you could kind of do what you want once you're Wayne Dyer, once you're that level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with caveats, yeah, but I would say, like, I mean, when you're at Wayne Dyer level, like, your name does the branding and the marketing for you. So I would agree with that.
Okay, here we go. So you're doing great. Thank you, because there's so many people who have these questions.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to do back cover first.
Okay. Oh, okay.
This is Brendan Burchard.
I like it. I like it. It's unique, it's edgy, it's eye-catching, it's just different. And that's sort of like a bold statement. Like, I don't need to fit in the box of what other back covers look like. If you like, that's something that you can tell was done with intention behind it and was decided upon. It wasn't just like, oh, it wasn't done without thought. It's very different. But it works. I like the colors. I love it. Oh
Right,
yeah.
right.
So good. So good. You know, especially nonfiction books, the simplicity is really hitting. And I think part of that is because I'm not going fast enough, but because of our like stimulus saturated culture of like imagery and media and video everywhere, like having just a very clean, simple, easy to read design like that, it's there's something about it's very appealing. It stands out in that.
And what about that? Like if you have some place where you've got rewarded or recognized, put it
Yes.
up top.
Yes, for sure. Or you can do a badge, you know, circle badge, something like that, but definitely love the colors on that.
What about this, guys?
This one, I like that I really like the title and the sans serif font. I know this person.
It's an advanced reader copy. It could only go up.
It's advanced reader copy.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Wait, so is this not out yet?
No, it's not out. It doesn't come out till September.
Oh, exciting. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love the title. And that's super important. I like the way the photo is on the side and like the division of the text instead of having everything just centered. It gives it a little bit more of a like a solid but action feel at the same time. Like all of that, very clear, easy to read.
You could give me the pointers offline. But actually, no, let's have, what would you say? Like, Chris, you really got to change. I want people to hear like real time. What would Coach say?
Let's see here. I think it's a little bit hard to read your subtitle. That's my one
Very
thing.
good.
Reach to delivery, unleashing your full potential. Subtitles are really important. Oh, I like that. I like it. Yeah, I think overall it's great and it works really well. I think the sans serif on the small, or not sans serif, the serif font that's used on the smaller part of the subtitle maybe could be a little bit harder to read, but
Okay,
that would
right.
be my nitpicky little thing.
Good. Hey,
Killing me.
I'm still open to working with the book cover designer, because part of my mission is to show people, get the book really good, but then you go in the world and be great with it. Outpace your book.
Yeah.
That's my mantra. Outpace your book.
I love
Most
that.
people are like, here's my book. Here's my book. I want good book and you're great.
Like you lead with yourself and the book kind of backs you up.
Yes, 100%.
I love that.
100%. Okay. If there was someone that I could take this clip out and send it to 3 people and say, Rachel really wants to work with you, but we don't have to. Who would it be? Who are you like, I would love to design the books for? I don't know, maybe a Stephen King and you want to do the next, who is it? Who would you like to?
Okay, this is a weird answer no one's gonna resonate with probably, but it's more like people who I think need to write a book where I'm like, oh, I really want to read your book and I want to design it and you need to write it. There's a business coach that I follow, his name's James Wedmore, and
James Wedmore's great. He doesn't have a book.
I don't think he does, no. I want to be his friend. I want him to write a book and I want to design his book.
Business by Design, CEO by Design, James Wedmore.
Yeah, you know James Wedmore. He's amazing. Yeah. So I think it would be people like that where I'm just like, oh, you need to write a book. And yeah.
That's really good. I found him during the pandemic. I downloaded one of his courses, and that's when I started really diving into what does it look like to scaffold out what a CEO is going to look like. And then I'd build with Kelly long enough that I know what the trajectory needs to look like and the programming needs to look like, and then been around Tony, Landmark, and all these other coaches that I know what needs to go into it for the people purposes. James is fantastic, really great. Who else?
Who else? Oh boy. Let me think. Oh, I'm drawing a blank, Chris. I'm drawing a blank.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this then. I'll do an easy one.
Okay.
Last ones as we land the plane.
All right.
For me, it was dinosaur books and then King Arthur.
Yes.
Those are my two books, my favorites growing up. What were your two favorite books growing up that you could still close your eyes and visualize to this day?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I was a horse obsessed kid, so I just read all of the horse books. So there's a lot of Saddle Club and things like that going on. But one is this old book I got at a library sale, like very old, like the pages are like brown and it smells really good, you know, that old book smell. And it was called Claudia and the $5 Horse, I think. And I can still picture that. It was just this brown cover and it had a picture of like the horse head and just a very simple line art on it. And then, oh, what's another one? I have to say the Little House, the Laura Ingalls books. Again, these are not probably the height of design examples, but these are the things that stand out.
Influenced you.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
We all have those influences that are important for us to remember and go back to. So, all right, let's now really truthfully land this plane because we are 10 minutes over. I'm sorry, everybody, but these are some of the best 10 minutes you're ever going to hope to get if you just watch what she did with those book covers. So here we go. I'm now going to first show someone's really amazing humanity. I love this. I'm an animal lover as well. I train for the studios. I've trained search and rescue dogs. Horses make me a little nervous. How did you get into the world of working with and being with horses?
Oh, I was just born that way. No one knows why. I'm the only one in my family. I've just always been horse obsessed, and they thought it was that, you know, little kid thing that I'd grow out of, but I never did. So I just wormed my way into local barns and worked there in order to be around horses and get riding experience. And then that's my horse now. His name's Chance. I got him in college as when he was 1 year old. And he's now 17, which is insane.
Wow.
He's my baby. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wonderful. 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 Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking to connect with Rachel and Printed Page Studios, I'm going to take you on a quick journey of where you could find her. Look at this. Just beautiful, beautiful marquee. Mine looks like a mess compared to yours. You can find her on LinkedIn right here at Rachel Valliere, or you can go to printedpagesstudios.com. I highly she's got a beautiful lead magnet right here. I shouldn't say it's a lead magnet, that's what we call it. She has a beautiful free downloadable giveaway to help you start working on your book design. What else can they find on your webpage, Rachel?
Oh, I actually just added, there's that announcement bar at the top. Grab your free copy of 3 Secrets to a Cover Design That Sells. And that's another free download. And it's just like 3 tips to think about as you prep for cover design and communicate with your designer, and things you can do to have the most effective cover design. But I definitely
well done.
Definitely encourage anyone who has questions or just wants to connect to. I'm active on LinkedIn. Feel free to message me, reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Okay. Any last championing words for the person that's going to watch this on YouTube? They're going to watch it on replay. They're thinking about their book design. they're in the author journey. Any last championing words for that person that's made it this far, Rachel?
Yeah, just your book matters. Keep going. It's a lot of work. It's really hard and it's so worth it in the end. Story changes the world. And also, I just want to give you kudos, Chris, because from the times that we've talked, you know your stuff and you have a brain for marketing and like breaking things down into those processes and those things that really help move people along and establish their platform. And I feel like just about every author I work with could benefit from working with you. So I would just say talk to Chris also, because what you're doing is awesome and I haven't really seen it before.
Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. It goes back to, I believe that everybody has life work, and someone could write a business book, which is needed. We need good businesses, social entrepreneurship, B Corps out in the world, but it doesn't show me the depth of you, the personal development book, the self-development book, the one that has people live life at the edge of comfort zone and then go beyond it confidently, competently, right? That's where I want people to be. And I think that's what I call life work. You know, your declaration of who you're going to be in the world in action, on a stage, making you money, making a difference. So yeah, thanks, Rachel. I appreciate that. Anything else? I think we've covered it as best as we could.
Yeah, it's been amazing. That's all I have. Just keep going and ping me with any questions.
That's right.
I'm happy to help.
Reach out to her because you're kind of full right now, but I'm sure you might be able to squeeze in 2 or 3 more if they reach out to you ASAP.
That's right. Yeah, I am full for the next couple months, but after that I start opening up. So reach out sooner the better if you want to work together.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, that completes one of the most awesome, fantastic guests that I've had. I haven't had a book designer on. So Rachel, you are first. I've had some really fantastic guests these past 2 months. I'm grateful that you said yes and you allowed me to elevate you and highlight you today. And I know that you'll keep making a difference for others so they could see themselves, be like, that's me. That's how I wanted to show up in the world. You captured how I want to be in this world. And you did a wonderful, fantastic sharing of that today. So thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. I'm going to stop this stream for now. You can find the replay YouTube on my replay page, and I'm sure we'll be getting lots of clips and the highlights and the gold nuggets that I wrote down from what Rachel said, and I'll put them on a highlight sheet for everyone. Until we see you again, I'm Chris Trammell of the Author Launchpad. That's Rachel Valliere of Printed Pages Studios, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.